in the back. I did tell him, a couple folks, okay, no, just, I've done this long enough. I said, I'm gonna see it. Hey, Mr. Wyatt. Good.
How you doing, sir? Yes, sir. Last.
I'm good.
Come on, this.
I'll have a good pocket to put everywhere. Need so many things.
They had all day break went by too quick, but later still it went by fast.
I am.
Raise, raise. There's the. Translate that. Oh, yeah.
That goes.
I'll get it. Get this out of the way. Right. Rock and roll. Yeah, Liddy. Yeah, 1 minute.
I'd like to at this time call the January 9th, 2023 Blaine County Board of Education meeting to order. I'd like to thank all of you for being here. We appreciate your attendance and the interest you show in our schools and all the work and all the things that you do for them. At this time, Mr. Clark will lead us in our invocation.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you tonight to ask for guidance as we make wise and helpful choice of decisions for the children of Blaine County Schools, and be with all the shut-ins and sick that we have in the community. Amen.
Amen. At this time, the students of Dublin Primary will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And Chairman Benton, we have 4 students tonight from Dublin Primary. Ashley Reyes, Callie Lindsay, Jose De La Sanchez, and Noah Preston. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
Thank you, students. And also thank you, teachers.
Get a picture.
Would like to thank those teachers for helping those students help us honor our flag and our country. I appreciate that. And we all should. Move on to before adoption of the agenda. I entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Second. It's been moved and properly seconded that we approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed likewise. There is none, motion carries. To approve the agenda. 5. We need to approve the minutes for the December 12th, 2022 meeting. Entertain a motion to that effect.
So I'm second motion.
Okay, it's been moved and proper second. We approve the minutes for December 12th meeting. Is there any discussion? If there's no discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All those opposed likewise. No opposition, motion carries. Spotlight and recognition. Dr. Atkinson, we'll turn that over to you.
Thank you, Chairman Bennett and board members. At this time, we'd like to recognize some of our schools who have exceeded or met growth as a part of the accountability for the last school year. We had certificates that were sent down signed by the state superintendent and the State Board of Education chair. So we'll start with our schools that exceeded academic growth. And we'd like to first recognize West Bladen High School under the leadership of Dr. Peggy Hester. Next, for exceeding growth, Parkland School Discovery under the leadership of Ms. Heather Thompson. And also for exceeding academic growth, Bladenboro Middle School under the leadership of Ms. Vanessa Ruttman. Chairman, can I take a break? If I get you there. Thank you. This time we have 6 schools who met expected academic progress. We'd like to recognize them at this time. Bladen Lakes Primary under the leadership of Ms. Jennifer Marlowe.
He'll make that happen.
Next, for meeting academic growth, East Arcadia Elementary under the leadership of Mr. David Wyman. Next, we have East Bladen High School under the leadership of Ms. Georgia Spalding. Next, we have Plainview Primary under the leadership of Mr. Jason Bolton. Next, we have Tar Heel Middle School under the leadership of Mr. Teresa Bolton. Last, we have Bladen Early College under the leadership of Ms. Haley Cheshire.
Okay, we have no citizen participation tonight. We'll move on to special recognition.
At this time, we will be recognizing our Board of Education. January is School Board Appreciation Month. This time, I'd like to read this resolution. It says, whereas public schools are an essential element of our democratic society. And whereas these are challenging times for public education and the work of school board members. And whereas serving on the Bladen County Board of Education requires an unselfish devotion of time and service to carry on the mission and business of the school district. And whereas school boards are accountable to communities for setting clear standards for district performance and assessing if those standards are met. And whereas school boards are responsible for establishing systems in which every student can learn and achieve at the highest level possible. And whereas school boards must meet the educational needs of students with fewer and fewer resources. And whereas school boards work diligently to assure young people are educated and prepared for their future in the workplace and as citizens. And whereas the men and women who are elected to these positions deserve recognition and thanks for their countless hours of volunteer service to public education and the children of our community. Now, therefore, we hereby declare our appreciation to the members of the Bladen County Board of Education and proclaim January School Board Appreciation Month. I urge everyone to join me in recognizing the dedication and hard work of our school board members to create an education system that meets the needs of both today's and tomorrow's children. In official recognition whereof, I affix my signature this 9th day of January 2023. Jason Atkinson, Superintendent, Bladen County Schools. Please join me in thanking our Board of Education. We have Ms. Johnson. We have some, these are some relatively large cards that were made from some of our students for you all. We'll pass those around for you all to look through. Also, we have each board member, as you leave tonight, you have a tub of gifts and things that have been made by our students for you all, to thank you all for what you all do. We'll highlight a couple of these that are relatively unique. This is an overlay of the current Tar Heel School. This has been made by students at Tar Heel Middle School for you all. I think this is a great gesture. You can see there, they did an outstanding job doing this overlay for you all to have that. The cards here were done by Elizabethtown Primary. And then West Bladen actually used a piece of technology, used a 3D printer to create this memento for you all to sit on a desk or somewhere, and it says BOE Appreciation 2023. Thank you for your service to Bladen County Schools. This is by West Bladen High School and their TEDD club. This is a new club this year. Actually, those students made these for you all. So there's all kinds of gifts. I wanted to highlight a few of those for you all, but we'll make sure that you all get that as you leave this evening. At this time, we'd like for each board member to come as their name is called. Mr. Tim Benton. Thanks, sir. Clark. Thanks. Mr. Harfield Davis. Mr. Dennis Edwards.
Probably
Mr. Steve Kwiatkowski. Mr. Keith Locklear. Mr. Glenn McCoy. Gary Rhodes. Mr. Matthew Singletary. We would also like to recognize our board attorney, Mr. Gary Gray.
All right, everybody, 1, 2, 3.
Dr. Atkinson, I'd like to thank you, all of the teachers, the students, administrators. It's, believe it or not, this is a tough job that these gentlemen have, and it's nice to feel appreciated. It's any job you have, it's nice to feel appreciated on this occasion, and we thank y'all. We'll move on to 9.01 Tar Heel School Construction Project Update. Dr. Atkinson.
Thank you, Chairman Benton, and board members. Tonight we have Mr. Mike Burris, who's present with us, also Mr. Robbie Ferris, and Mr. Alex Herndon, and Mr. James as well here from SFLA. So we'll be presenting some information to you all. And of course, if you have any questions, please let them know. Mr. Burris is our project manager for the Tar Heel School Construction Project.
Very good. Thank you. Nice to be here again tonight, and congratulations on your award. It is an amazing amount of time that a school board member does have to spend with constituents, and I think it surprises everybody when you get started here. So, but it really is. Want to bring you up to date with the Tar Heel project. You can see our picture on the cover of the monthly report here that we've got trusses going in the air. We've got admin area covered now. We have masonry or precast planks going in over the classroom wings. So the building is starting to get right in, and it's a good step. They're right on schedule with that and ahead on some of the other portions of it. So they're doing very well, very good team. And they're working together very hard on the site. We've had a good portion of good weather and a wonderful site that dries out immediately after it puts rain. So that's a really nice thing about it. Completion date, you see here, original completion date and our targets of once we move into the building and then have to do the demolition and build the parking lots back. So move into the building at over the Christmas break period and then start doing the revisions to the parking lots and be done with that by the time of April. School building's about 40% complete right now. Budget wise, you can see that we're on track with our contract change orders that are contract, and the change orders have already been processed. The contract is doing well. The next section is CM allowances within the contract that are both major and minor. I wanted to put that in there because one, it's your owner's contingency that most of the items that do have changes that it would hit that. But there's also a number of allowances that are built into the contract itself. As we went through the design process, some things weren't finished. That allowances were put in there to cover those costs. You've already encumbered those costs. So it's not any additional money that you have. It's just like money in the contract to be able to spend for items that needed to be addressed. I gave you a summary of those that are here. You can see some of the balances that are available still in the contract and the amount of allowances that we had to absorb. You'll see in some of the change orders that do come through where we start taking credit for those allowances. And then if the allowances aren't used, then they're credited back to you. And all those funds come back into the project. I also wanted to give you an idea of the funding balance where we are, kind of give you an overall picture of the whole funding. So from the state funds and the county funds, we have $47 million we have for this school project. You can see the list of the current contracts that we have with the architect and the CM at risks, our services, the pre-con fee that was there, a septic tank and system that we installed out there. And then the current, we had a pot of money for the electric buses, and we're using that pot of money for the fire tank discussion, since we got grants for the electric buses. And so you can see the balance still remaining on that. You can see the balances in our furniture and equipment and technology contracts and some miscellaneous contracts that we've had for material testing, inspections, those kind of things. And I'll confirm all of these numbers with Ms. Harrison and make sure that this is kept up to date with where we are. But the good point about this I wanted to note is that you're still about $1 million that you haven't encumbered. And on top of the budgets that we have. So financially, you're in very good shape for the project. The contractor progression so far has been right on track with where we anticipated to be. And that's very well, it's a good sign of a good organized project when they can do that. We've listed for you the pending change orders or the PCOs, potential change orders and change orders in the project here that we've seen to date so far. You can get an idea of some of those things that will hit against those allowances that we've shown. In most cases, you'll see that there's an allowance that either absorbs it or it's going against the owner's contingency. So that the dollar amounts that you have in the owner's contingency are picking up any overages that we may have. And then I also gave you a list of the pending changes that may be coming that have been identified that will be discussed. Probably one of the larger ones that we're looking at is the added baseball field improvements. We are right now, there's hundreds of wells that have been drilled in the ball field that are out there. From that, they'll all the piping's been run into the building. They'll recover that surface with layers of dirt and get back with a regular baseball field, infield, outfield, seeded and sodded outfield. We're looking now at the dugouts and the backstop and bleachers for that, and then also looking at how we address the softball field side too. So there's some allowances that are in there, and we're trying to just bring up that side of the campus a little bit more to go along with the school. So we'll have some ideas that we move forward with you on that. We'll talk in a minute about the fire tank and the current status of that. And then because of procurement issues and good planning from the contractor, there are issues with switchgear and electrical systems right now in schools. We are providing a temporary switchgear in the facility to get the get it operational. And as the new one comes in, we'll make that swap to get the new switchgear in place. And the other ones are listed there. So far, we don't have any potential weather delays on the project. Again, it's been a wonderful site. There are the two architectural change orders that listed there to their contracts done. And then the outstanding requests for information, we'll go through the fire pump discussion in a minute. Also included for you an update of the schedule. You can see where we are on our milestone dates. You can see that we don't have any potential weather delays on the project yet. And then I gave you a list of the progress that's been made on the site over the past month. And then the works is planned for the next 30 days. And then lastly, some more photos of the site and the work that's progressing on the job. They've put on all the metal trusses for the admin area and then decked that area. You see the structure there in front of the canopies in front of the walkway areas of the admin. You can see the next picture is the precast plank going on top of the classroom wings. Inside the classroom wings, this is a picture of inside a classroom. That's the current status. And then on the right-hand side is the mechanical mezzanines. One of the nice design features of this building is a mechanical mezzanine where all the mechanical units and those kind of things are up accessible from this mezzanine. And they feed the classrooms in, so maintenance doesn't have to go into the classrooms or in the hallways in order to do the maintenance for the facility. It's a very nice design. Overall, a very good progress report for the job. And again, the project's going well. Part of the reason why I'm coming here tonight was to also talk about the fire tank. It's been an issue that's come up since August. We've had designers working on that, engineers on trying to decide the size of the tank, the size of the pumps, the size of the equipment and the lines that are servicing that, and also to give you status on where we are with the orders and the costs. I am glad to say that the cost that the engineers completed their designs for the tank, for the preliminary systems that they have. That information's been given to the contractor. The contractor's gone back to the fire tank manufacturer. He's got a confirmation of the price and the delivery date of that. We're in good shape on that. It's about a 20-week delivery for the tank, and we're under budget for the tank itself. The pumps and the other fire equipment are still being designed. They'll be finished up this week. And that'll be turned over then to the contractor in order to get pricing on that associated with that. That equipment added to the tank price is putting us under the $1.4 million budget that we had. We're about $60,000 to $65,000 under the overall $1,400 number. That's enough to absorb any changes that we may have in expediting that fire pump or fire tank that we have. And we're looking at different options for some of the components that are in that, see if we can expedite them and get them done sooner. Maybe originally planned from the engineer side. But that's where we are. I did want to do probably a little more formal presentation of the team that is here, though. So if you do have any questions, Alex Herndon is the project manager for the job. He's been doing an excellent job keeping us up to date and informed of the project. We have Robbie Ferris, the owner of the design firm for the team, and James Rice, who's the project architect for the job. And again, I'd like to congratulate them for a good job that they've done so far in progressing this project well. And if you have any questions about any of the issues for the fire tank or pending items, feel free to ask them at this time.
Okay, as far as as far as when we get into like baseball, softball fields, the restrooms and all that, you're tearing the old ones out, correct?
The storage building, all that's already gone.
Right.
The dugouts are not in good shape and probably should.
What are we looking at once the connexes are gone, storage building?
There's a Connex we have out there now.
Right.
I've done them in situations where we put another Connex out there for a storage building, or put two Connexes out and a covered roof and a cage space in between them, so that you have room for equipment and things like that to go in that can be secured, and then have two lock boxes.
I mean, I do not, after this school is built, I do not want a connex set. I mean,
So then you upgrade to the next step of more of a
that,
formal building.
that is something that
And we can do
whoever's on the facility committee, I mean, you guys look at that. And maybe, you know, equipment storage, a nice concession stands and restrooms added in. Because we had like a 24 by 24 building, Ms. Coleman.
It was bigger than that. It was a nice building before.
You're gonna have that for a tractor and others. I mean, look and see, I mean, and that's where I would ask you to cut costs. Save anything you can to put some of that money back into that type of facility. Or we'll have a nice facility to store stuff and do concessions and stuff that, you know, that.
We've already taken a look at that. We've looked at that, especially with Ms. Coleman and the team. We've already got a
Okay, that's,
sort of identified for it,
okay.
and we have contingency funds available to do that.
What's that building like are you considering putting?
Right now,
Should be able to put two there.
yeah. I have it with me tonight. Hang on. Just for the base of the sodding in the field and getting it ready. So I'll bring that to you. But the idea is to take a look at those facilities, one to replace the shed that was out there, the storage buildings there. Look at the dugouts, look at the concession stand or a place for it. We do need to look at if there's a toilet out there and just making sure with the grades in the fall and getting water out there, how that's going to work. That'd be a little more complicated and be difficult. And then also looking at over at the, in any other facilities that are out there to make sure that those are. And you will have enough contingency available to do that. But we'll bring that together. We've been working with Ms. Coleman on and staff about the ideas of what they need. We'll be glad to entertain whatever ideas you may have and present that to you.
I like for you to look at it as consideration, winter sports and outdoor sports, that building be big enough for them kids can have somewhere to go and practice. You know, I don't, you know, 24 by 24 obviously isn't big enough, 40 by 40 is not big enough. So depending on what monies we have, but when spring sports are in and there's places to practice when it's cold and the weather's the way it is, there is nowhere to practice. So let's look at maybe possibly, depending on the monies that we have, the consideration to build something large enough for those kids to can go in there and maybe practice or have, depending on what type of areas we have and that type of thing. I understand what you're bringing, but we don't have anything like that at our high schools here when it's cold and wet and rainy. But these kids here need a place to go and practice. So if there's monies there to look at that and you guys can estimate that, I'd be interested in looking at that from a spring sports perspective.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Batting cages, things like that.
Absolutely.
And inside places. We've
Yes,
got
sir.
some weight rooms in places
Yes, sir.
to do that.
Definitely weight rooms.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Well, again, thank you and thanks for our team for being here. Rob, you want to say anything?
No, I would ask, if there are specific things that we want in that building, if y'all could give us a list of those things so we know exactly what we're designing to,
Sure.
that would be super helpful.
I'm sure we can come up with some things. We can work on
We
that.
first need to decide what size of building we're talking about putting in, so we know how to design.
Yeah.
That, need to know that first,
That's right.
and,
Need to look at
and we would like to have two.
what is the program that you want to have in that space? So what are the functions that you want to have in there? And then look at what the must-haves are, and then what we'd like to have, because somewhere along the way, you're gonna run out of money.
Absolutely.
You're gonna need to do what you want to have and what can fit on the site. And then we'll just accept, from that, we can develop the different models and prototypes.
I think in conjunction with Ms. Coleman, we could probably come up with some much needed things that we need and what they could use. And Mr. Davis, I'm sure we could figure that out. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's important.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Anything else, anybody? Thank y'all. We appreciate the update on that. We'll move along to, number 10, consent agenda, which consists of our 10.1 fundraisers and 10.02 overnight field trips. Entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent.
A second.
And moved and properly seconded that we approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? No discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Opposition, motion carried. Consent agenda is approved.
Oh, can I ask one question? On the fundraiser for Lake Lakes Primary. It's just that the parents are driving their kids. Is there any specific reason for that? Do we not have the buses to transport these kids, or do we not have the drivers, Mr. Atkinson?
Talking about for the, not for the overnight field trip?
Yeah.
Elementary, typically for Beta Convention, their parents elect to drive them for overnight stay. So that's why there was not an issue with the bus driver. It's just that typically the primary parents usually would drive themselves and they'll stay at the overnight. So
Okay, I was just concerned, because that's 11 families out there on the road. That's a lot of carpooling.
yeah, that was a choice that the school and parents made. Ms. Marlowe, she could address that.
We just want to make sure we make this easy as possible for them.
A bus is available should they have decided to go that route, but that's the decision they had made to do personal vehicles for their own children.
Okay.
Sir.
Any other concerns, thoughts, input? Okay, number 11, action items, Dr. Atkinson, 11.01.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. First, we need to entertain a motion to remove the fall custom policy updates from the table for consideration.
At this time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we remove it from the table.
Motion to remove the fall custom policy updates.
It's been moved and properly seconded that we remove the fall custom policy updates. Any discussion? Discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. No opposition, so the motion carries, so it will be removed from the table.
And then we now need to approve the fall custom policy updates.
Motion to approve, now that we removed it. So I entertain that motion.
So moved.
Second. Okay, so move properly second. We approve the fall custom policy updates. Any discussion? If there is no discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed likewise. Opposition, motion carries. 11.02. Excellent.
Thank you, Chairman Benner and board members. In regards to the Star Telephone WAN contract change, there was actually a discrepancy in the E-rate system. That was an E-rate service that showed that that was actually up for bid to go back out. It technically is not. There's an additional year that remains on that. That service is still with Star. So all we need the board to do tonight is to vote to rescind the contract that was approved last year. We'll continue under the current contract for one additional year, then to go back out for bid next year in the fall.
I heard Dr. Atkinson say at this time, that motion that we vote to rescind the Star Telephone contract.
So moved.
Second. Moved properly seconded. Is there any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. Opposition, motion carries. 7.03, special custom policy update. Excellent.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. Typically, policies from the School Board Association come out once in the fall and once in the spring. If there's been a change in legislation or any special circumstance, they may release a special custom update. They did release one in December regarding policy 7241. And this deals with the drug and alcohol testing of commercial motor vehicle operators. And the summary on that beginning January the 6th of this year, the drug and alcohol clearinghouse is fully functional. And so references to that have been added to that policy. It says that school officials will no longer be required to contact an applicant's previous regulated employers to obtain records of applicants' drug or alcohol violations, because that would be in that clearinghouse since it's fully operational. It does still require that the applicant's previous employers are contacted if it's anyone outside of the FMCSA. So what we'll need to do is to place this policy on the table for 30 days per our board policy, and then bring it back for a vote at the next regular scheduled meeting. So I recommend that you all place this policy on the table for review.
I will entertain a motion at this time to place 11.03 special custom policy update on the table.
Chair, move that we table the special custom policy up.
Yeah, second.
Moving properly seconded that we table 11.03. Any discussion? No discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise, if none, motion carries to table the special custom policy update. This time we move. Motion to go to closed session.
Motion to go to closed session. Second.
Go to closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel as per NCDS 143.318.11 A1 to consult with an attorney if needed as per NCGS 143.318.11A3, and to discuss student assignment discipline per the 1974 Family Rights and Privacy Act. Heard a motion, did we get a second? On that, the executive session.
So,
Okay. Moving proper second, did we go into the executive session, any discussion? If none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, likewise. If none, motion carries. time, I'd like to entertain a motion that we come out of closed session.
Chair, I move that we come out of close.
Second.
Move proper seconded, we come out of closed session. Discussion.
I need to recuse myself from this vote.
Anything else? If there's no further discussion, all those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed likewise. Okay, we are now out of closed session into open session and we need to a motion to pass the personnel action item that was discussed in closed session.
I need to recuse myself from this one too.
I move that we approve the closed session item. Second.
Okay, we have been moved and properly seconded that we approve the closed section action with 13.01 personnel action item. There is discussion. There is no discussion. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed likewise. There's none, motion carries. Personnel action carries. Okay, time number 14, matter of interest, board members. Any of you got anything you want to share with us?
I would, I mean, I hope everybody's doing safe, taking care of their families and all. I know there's a lot of sickness in the community. Also the facility committee, I mean, newly formed committee. Take a deep look at that Tar Heel project and stay on top of it. It takes a lot of attention. And anything we can do to make that facility better for the kids. You gentlemen, please, I mean, do everything you can. I greatly appreciate it.
Anybody else? So you want to add to that? Thank you, Dennis, for your input on that and staying on top of it. I appreciate it. I'm sure citizens of Blaine County do also. Anybody else, anything want to share with us before we move on to their report? I don't have anything much other than say again, I thank you, all of you that are here, appreciate what you do for the school system. Hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we're looking forward to getting that Tar Heel project done, getting moved in, and moving forward. This time, Superintendent.
Thank you, Chairman Benton and board members. I just want to bring a few things to your attention. I mentioned last month about planning a work session retreat. We set that for Monday, February the 6th. That will be at 5:30. And we will have our department heads here to go through some information with you all. And we look forward to a good session. That Monday night, so February 6th at 5:30, we'll send you all a reminder for that as well. Also, schools and departments will be closed on Monday, January 16th in observance of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Our curriculum committee will be needing to set up a meeting here soon to discuss the pending math textbook adoption. The committee has been, the staff and review committee has been working on that. We'll need to convene the curriculum committee to discuss that as well and look at that for future adoption, as well as high school English language arts. So we'll be getting that set up here shortly. We'll reach out to those committee members and get that date set here soon. We are presently working on an audit of our board policies and doing some informal review. We did see that some of them are quite dated, and I don't know if in times past, School Board Association did not update that policy, or it just has not had any changes since then. So we are working through all of our, there's 9 areas of that. We're going through that, notating the last date that it was updated. We'll reach out to the School Board Association to see if there indeed is a newer version of that policy that our manual does not reflect. And did the board approve that previously, or had it not been reviewed? So we've just had some cause for concern with some of those being quite dated. We want to make sure that they're relevant. Typically, when I know during my tenure, when you all approve custom policy updates, the next day I call the School Board Association and say, our board has approved this set of policies. Please update our manual. Not saying anyone necessarily forgot that. We just need to make sure that we got the most current version of all of our board policies. Because as you know, as legislation changes or practices change or guidance changes, we need to make sure that we must have the most accurate and most current policy available for us to use for guidance as well as for our board and our families and community. So we are working on that now, almost completed with the review, and then we'll be reaching out to the School Board Association, to Justice Warren to see if he can assist us with that. If we see any discrepancies, obviously we'll bring that to you all. If there's anything we need to either re-vote on or let you know that these were approved but were not updated, or in fact, if they are, we'll provide you also with a chart of those and the last date they were updated for your reference. But we just felt like that we needed to do that to make sure that we were current in all of our policies. Thursday, February 9th is going to be an early release day for students. That will be a staff professional development day. And then that Friday behind that is an optional teacher workday. So we want to remind folks of that. Also, the National School Board Association, if you all remember, I think it was last year, North Carolina actually pulled out from the National School Board Association. Several states did do that. And there is now a new consortium of state school boards association, which North Carolina is subscribed to with our North Carolina School Board Association membership. We are members of the consortium of state school board association. They have their inaugural conference, which it would obviously be around the same time typically that this National School Boards Conference would be. That's March 30th through April the 2nd. And if you are interested in attending that national conference, if you'll let us know, and we can get those arrangements made for you all as well. It's in Tampa.
Yeah, Tampa. The other one is in Orlando.
I think so.
So we going to the one in Tampa.
Yes, sir, because we're now a member of this group through since we're members of North Carolina School Board Association. I want to think there was, don't quote me on this, 25 to 30 states that moved to this new consortium. And just there was some conflict over some different things. And so it's definitely, for that many states to move in that direction. March the 30th through April 2nd.
We had to do with a lot of policies or something. I was reading it.
One thing we're also going to be working on is that we work with the School Board Association to obviously it's on us to help you with record keeping for CEUs. So if you have anything that you've attended in the fall that we don't have, you'll get that to us so we can maintain that in your file. And I think that most folks are current as of today on their ethics training. You do have a login. We are part of the on-demand service for the School Board Association. So a lot of their trainings they do now have digital, and you have that entire library. So if you need additional hours, additional training, you can take part of that as well. I've sent you all the ID and password for that. It'll give you a completion certificate at the end. And we can continue that and continue to build your CEUs as well. So that's all I have, Chairman Ben, for tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Ashton, for all that information. All right, this time we'll entertain a motion that we adjourn. Second, we adjourn. All those in favor, let's